Hi there mates. Are you looking to add a second screen to your Tesla Model 3 and Model Y, and particularly a right-hand drive AMD Ryzen version? Well, this is the video for you. Let's do this. Okay, I have here a 4.6-inch screen from Hansshow. This goes behind the steering wheel. Now there are super advantages of having this, and we're going to install this in a Ryzen Tesla Model Y. It is compatible with the Tesla Model 3 as well. Let's do this. Okay, we'll do a very quick unboxing. I'm not a huge fan of these unboxing videos, I must say. So that is the screen, and it goes behind the steering wheel, and it is super slim and super cute. The advantage of having this as opposed to a huge screen like a 9-inch or a 10-inch screen is that it does not block the airflow from the air vents. So that is why I like this particular screen, and it has a OEM quality look to it. You can see it's the same gray color of the steering wheel column as well. So you just replace one part for the other and you add this screen, and it's super slim too. It also has a USB-C port here which can be used for updating software too. So these are the advantages of having the screen, and in this box you also have the cables for it, and we'll talk about the cables as we do the installation. Let's do this. You do need a plastic pry tool. I do have an entire plastic pry set. If you have a set like so, it is even more useful because you have a lot more access to a whole host of these plastic and metal tools. But if you don't have them, Hansshow does give you this in the box as well. Let's do this. Okay, first things first, we have to bring this steering wheel all the way out because this is the part we want to change. And for that, we're going to use the steering wheel control inside of the menu there, bring it up, and then you have to use the out button to bring it all the way out. In this particular case, we do have a yoke steering wheel, so that really helps. It doesn't have a huge top panel to it, so it really helps in that particular regard. And if you want to bring it up a little bit so that you can access the underneath, if you're a slightly large man like me, I'd like to bring it up a little bit. So that is the first step. And once you're done with this, you go into safety and you want to power off your car as well, so you can actually power this off. So before powering off, I usually like to open all the doors and windows, and then we power off the car. Okay, all you have to do is push this inside and ever so slowly pry it out, and this will come out. Don't be worried, it's only held by these two clips. There's two clips there and then one at the bottom, so those things just come out very easily. Nothing too fancy. You take that out first. The next one you have to remove is this particular panel. All you have to do is pull this out a little bit and then push up like so. Slowly pull it out from the rubber here and pull it up like so. It is super simple. Again, there's one long part and then one clip that comes out very easily. We do the same thing for the driver side as well. Remove this panel out. That's out. Like I said, pull it out first and then pull it up like so, and that's done. Okay, when you're in the driver side, this is a right-hand drive car. If you are watching this from a left-hand drive country, I don't want you to make these silly jokes of why is the steering wheel on the wrong side? Well, this is on the right side. Rightio, let's do this. Use a pry tool again, probably a slightly wider pry. You can push that up like that and give it a little bit of tugging force, and that comes off very easily on the driver side. Now let's go to the passenger side. Same drill on the passenger side as well. I gave it a little bit of tug force and pulled this up. Now this is for a non-Austin Tesla. This is the Shanghai version here in Australia, so this does not have an extra step. There's an extra step if it's an Austin vehicle. I believe there's a screw here which you have to undo before this comes off. So that's that. So this one comes off in an even fashion. You can just pull this out like so, and then ever so gently pull it out, and you can take it out and leave it aside for now. You don't need this for the time being, because the next step is to get into the driver's side steering wheel column there, and we'll do that next. Right, now this is the part you have to do next. Now we have to remove these two clips, and this part has a rubber. Be very careful because this part needs to go back onto this part of the screen system. So be very careful when you do this. So again, the trusted pry tool comes into play. Slowly pull that out there. That's one. And this is the second one over here. You gently take it out as well. Go. Okay. So now we've taken this clip out from both sides, and we leave this aside because we're going to use this again and plug this particular part back again. So let's save this up. Now we have to remove this part, and that is slightly difficult. Always use the plastic tool so that you don't make any scuff marks there. You can start with the rear and slowly push this up a little bit. See, it comes undone there, and then you can push this up here as well. Slowly pry this up. I always found it easy to start from the rear and then work your way forward, because that is an easy way to do this. Don't give too much tug force on this rubber, you may tear it. So a gentle tug force and slowly push this and slightly push this up. Try not to make too many scuff marks. You may feel a little upset about that afterwards. So slowly push this up, push this up. Okay, that's come undone a little bit, maybe a little bit more. If you want to use a slightly larger side there and push this up there, you can do that too. So that's come undone. We're going to do that same thing for this opposite side as well. Okay, now that we have taken both parts up, all you have to do is gently push this around and lift this particular plastic piece out. Maybe give it a little bit of work here, just behind the gear selector and the light selector, and give it an even tug force up, slowly pushing this up there. We're going to do the same thing for the opposite side too. An even tug force up, and you can then lift this off in just a bit. Maybe a little bit of force here may be necessary. Okay, we push this out, and now this will come free, and that is the part which is going to be changed, and the screen goes here. And this is the part you have to do some minor surgery and transfer it onto the existing screen. That's quite easy too. There's a pinch and push mechanism here. You can just pinch and push that out. Same here, pinch and push this out. So this will come out from this clip. So all you have to do is pinch a little bit and push, and that's come off there. There's one more on the side. You take this off, and then you pinch and push down, and that's it. Because it's a brand new car, it can be a little stubborn. Just be patient and slowly pry it off from the original plastic panel. That's that. So that has come free. This is the part that's going back onto the screen, and this is the part you can leave it aside. Maybe later if you want to change it back, you can just put this back in the same fashion. Super easy indeed. Okay, so that is the piece that's going back, and that is the screen. And this is what I talked about, Hannsshow's OEM quality. You see, the gray absolutely matches the gray that came with the screen part, and that is why I really like this particular thing. It has an OEM finish to it. All you need to do is now push this back in, and that all latches into place. And there is a side hook there which goes and latches into place there as well. One more side hook here which sort of goes and latches into place, and that's that. So now you have this, and this is going over here. Before we go on to that, we have a few more steps to do. I'll talk about that in the next part of this video. Okay, now I'm on the driver's side of things, and I'm going to start removing this panel as well. I believe you don't have to access the opposite passenger side similar panel. Just this top panel may suffice for the opposite side. We'll see that in just a bit, but again, this is easy. Just pull and pry. It just comes off without a fuss. You can see that it's only held by these clips, 1 and 3 clips at the bottom. All these come off quite easily. And the next thing, I just want to pry this carpet out a little bit. Let's do that now. Again, our trusted pry tool works the best. Just use that and pull this out over here, and when you pull this off, that brings the carpet out as well. So we'll pull these two clips out, and that should help us access these things. And now we're going to do the wiring, and that is the main part of this particular video. Okay, we'll very quickly talk about the cables that came with this particular pack. So you can actually undo the secure harness here, and I'll show you the cables because it's important to know what these cables are. Now this blue cable is the one we are going to use here for our AMD Ryzen model, and it also has that tag on it. It says this is AMD CAN bus, and it says this cable goes to the right side door pillar, so it's quite clearly labeled as well, goes to the right side door well. Now this one, on the other hand, this other cable, which is white in color, it says Intel version. So if you have an Intel version, you have to use this white plug, which is a pass-through. This end of the pass-through will go into your autopilot computer, which is at the bottom end of the passenger side. I have a different Hansshow video, which I can link in the description, which you can watch just to know how to access that particular port to do the pass-through. So basically, this one piece has both the Intel and the AMD one. The blue cable is the AMD one, and that's what we're going to use. Go. Okay, one more time. We're going to power this off. I think while I was manipulating the gear selector there, we did power on the computer again. So let's go and power that off, power that off. So once the car is powered off, that's when we come to the driver's side footwell. It's, I think, easy to remember that's right side of the car. So if you are in a US model, you just go to the right side of the car. If you are in a right-hand drive version, you just stay in the right side of the car, which is the driver's side as well. And that is the power. So if you see, there is power here, and you can see there is a blank OBD or a data port there, which you can plug your plugs into. So we're going to use this particular cable as we saw. So we said that this is the AMD version. So this will get power from here, and this is a pass-through. So you can actually unplug this by pressing and pulling. So that brings the power out. We can then plug the original cable that came from Hansshow onto that part there. That snaps into place. It's the same color as you can see, and then you can plug this pass-through over here as well. So that plugs there, and this OBD port goes into that blank data port over there. It is a open port, so there's nothing to remove or pass through. We just plug this in to that port over there. That's all. So that's now plugged in, and now this goes into the screen itself. So we're just going to do a quick test before we do anything at all. So let's go and plug this in to the screen. So that goes into the screen just there, and we're going to see if the screen is powering up by powering on the car as well. So let's power on the car. So that is powering on, and now we are all ready. Look at that. Pretty cool indeed, isn't it? Now all we have to do is to fix this in place, and we are golden. Okay, now we'll bring the cable out through the back. There are a couple of important things because this is not an OEM part, so it may not always slide in. You see there are these two rails on the side here, and there are some crevices here at the bottom there. Let's try and slide those two and align those two first. And then this clip has to go in here, so we can bring this cable and the plug out. Again, align those rails first, then bring these two. So maybe I'll just leave this here and just hold this away on the side, so that gives me some more time and some more space to work. So this clip needs to go in to that part there, and that clip needs to go into that part. So always align them instead of pushing them straight away. Try and align them first. And this is the hardest part, where it has to go underneath and tuck into the actual steering column as well. Sorry, the actual steering wheel as well. So let's do that. And then gently push the clips into place. So once you slide that in and you have everything aligned, maybe give it a bit of force. Hold the bottom a little bit and a small bit of force, and that snaps these two into place. The cable is out, and this bit as well, just a little bit of a thudding force, and that snaps it into place. And the same holds good for the other side as well. So that's it, just a gentle force, not too much. And now we're going to outroute this cable on the side, and this is the part that needs to be sort of plugged in there, and we're going to use these two small clips to plug this one in first. That one goes in there and plugs that into place. The actual plug is out. The next clip is on this side. Pull that in, push that in there, and that secures that too. That's that. So far so good. Now the dash goes on top. Before that, we'll do a little bit of cable management. So maybe there's a little bit of space on this side, so I'll try and put that in there. Just make sure nothing is getting caught there. I'm going to use a little bit of masking tape to stick these down a little bit, so that gives me a little bit more space before I put this in place. So I always put a few tapes here just to keep everything secure. Otherwise, it's very difficult to put back the dash if you don't do a little bit of cable management. I'm not being very tidy about this. People who have OCD, they can probably do it much more cleaner than I do, but I'm just doing it as a utilitarian install for now. Maybe next time when we take it out for some other reason to upgrade this, because they've given an upgrade cable, they'll probably have like a front camera or something coming there. When we do that, we'll probably tidy this up a little even further. Okay, now we're going to put back the dash. Just make sure these clips are all aligning to the clip ports at the bottom. Nothing fancy, very slowly and gently we can push this into place. Nothing fancy, as like I said, just gently in, and that snaps into place. And because we did a little bit of cable management, it makes it a little easier for this to snap into place there. So that is done. This cable's on the side. We'll snap that in a little later. We'll do a little bit more cable management, tug all this in. Now this is something that Hansshow can think about doing. They have both the Intel and the AMD in the same cable. So there's a little bit of redundant cable there because this is for the Intel computers. Anyway, that's what it is. So so if you have an Intel computer, you'll have to route the whole thing underneath through these panels and then bring it to this side, and then maybe bring it on top or bring it from the bottom there. You can work this out, but if you have the dash off, putting the dash and the cable under the dash is the best way forward. We'll just push this all in and do a little bit of cable management now. Okay. So just a little bit of cable management there. This can be tucked in somewhere there and then just left in place. There are some space behind that, and that can be brought forward, and this can be clipped into place too. So this is the power, so that can go behind there a little bit. Again, all this is just part of the general cable management, nothing more, nothing less. You can find a spot which best suits your needs and then plug this into place there, so that that clip can go in over here. And that's back in place there. Righty, so that is back in place. We're just putting this rubber back in place too, just bringing it back to its original look. So that's that. We'll do a testing of this in just a bit. So there we go. This is now all set. I'm going to show you that is the view you get, and it is reasonably small enough for the air vents not to be blocked. You can see the line of sight of the air vents are okay, and it's reasonably big enough to show enough of the details. You can see that the front is now open, the two side doors are now open. You can see the distance, you can see the range, so on and so forth. Okay, now I'm sure you know this, that this is a touch screen as well. You can actually touch on it, and that has the glove box control. So if I click on the glove box, you can see that the glove box does open there. You can change the mode that you drive, some sport. You can change sport off, sport on, regen braking. You can turn off, turn on. You can do child lock, and you can also do the tile mirror. When you click on that, it closes the mirror, and when you click on that, that opens the mirror as well. Let me show that to you again. There you go. That closes and opens the mirror depending on what you want to do in that particular instance. So that's all pretty good. Radio. So there you go. That is the install for this screen in this AMD Model Y. It's the exact same steps for an AMD Ryzen Tesla Model 3 as well. Do check this out. This is from Hansshow. If you want to buy this, you can use my code TESLAGONG to get a little bit of discount when you buy this part as well. This is a 4.6-inch driver's second center console screen. I'll see you guys in another interesting video. Until then, this is Nash from Tesla and the Gong, signing off. Peace.